What price should you place on team education? And we'll begin our podcast right there.
Welcome, all you wonderful dental podcast listeners, to the My Practice, My Business Dental Podcast Show, where we help dentists profit and thrive with excerpts from the clinical business of dentistry training here at My Practice, My Business. We'll be addressing and answering questions with current trends dentists and their teams face each and every day in their pursuit of this wonderful career we call dentistry. And now, the host of our show, the clinical director at My Practice, My Business, Dr. Rob Thorup.
When we think of team education, we oftentimes go right to the doc and the hygienist only. Why? Because they're the only ones who need continuing education credit for license renewal, right? Well, what about the rest of the team? What about the person who is placed in the financial control center of the office? That person that oftentimes has received little or no formal education or training. What about that person? The one with the most demands placed on them. The one who works a job that the rest of the people in the office typically say, quote, "I'm glad I don't have their position," end of quote. Let's talk about that person. And because I'm talking about that person, I'm joined with my sweetheart, Tracy, who's been an office manager for years, and she's she is literally the CEO of My Practice, My Business, and in school and pursuing a master's at this time to try and help the rest of all the people that we train out there, help them out with both formal and practical experience, because both combined are very important. Otherwise, dentists would be in trouble, right? So let's talk about the why. Let's talk about that person, honey, the why. And number one, this is what you and I came across again, and we come across this like, gosh, I don't know how many times. So we're here to help all of you out there that are office managers, or you dentists that want your office managers to listen to what we're talking about. There's still those that teach that fee-for-service fees will increase PPO contracts if you send them into the insurance industry. And I just want common sense to prevail. Am I asking for too much, Trace?
Absolutely not. And it's frustrating when you look at all these social media posts that are being quoted on and people are making their statements. And we just saw the other day somebody saying, oh, we have been, I don't know who we is, but we have been teaching for years to send in your fee-for-service fees. And you just kind of have to roll your eyes and say, really? Why has that not happened? Why have we not gotten that increase? Could it possibly be because we're not doing the right thing?
Well, that's it. It's the office manager's fault. It's the front office. They're not sending in the right information. That's why our contracted fees haven't gone up. No, people, when we did a major insurance investigation, we recorded every conversation we had with every insurance company. One of the top questions we asked is, how do you determine your contracted fees with dentists? Really? How do you determine it? Because we've heard, and we asked them this. This is point blank with over 30 insurance companies out there. Do you set it based on fee-for-service fees? And again, I'm going to tell you, they'd have to hire a team of people to input data from your office, to input your fee-for-service fees. They don't care. It's based on profit and loss, how much it comes in premiums and how much goes out. So, but now let's forget the truth. Let's forget the recordings, which all of our clients have heard, Trace.
Yes.
Let's forget about all the evidence that we have in our arsenal of our training that these team members, that they get to hear. Let's just forget about that. Let's just talk about common sense. What has been our increase in our fee-for-service fees throughout all these years? What has that increase been? I mean, back in 1990, I think our fee-for-service fee we were charging was about like $485, $500 was a crown fee back then here in Utah, and that fee has more than doubled.
Correct.
So now, when insurance has popped into the picture, I remember Blue Cross Blue Shield some of these insurance companies right here in Utah, the reimbursement rates were more than our fee-for-service fees were when we started out.
Yeah.
And literally was like 525, 550, 575, 585 was another good number when insurances first came out for our reimbursement for a crown. That was back in the 90s, early 90s. What's our reimbursement fee today?
Oh, it's ridiculously low. So it's definitely not double.
Yeah, not double. Yet our fee-for-service fees since then have doubled or more than doubled.
Oh, and premiums likely have gone up as well, right?
So if we've been sending in our fee-for-service fees all these years, you would think that our reimbursement fees would be around the, here in Utah, $1,000, $1,100 mark. In other parts of the country, it should have gone up by percentage the same. So, friends up there in Washington, you should be around, 1,800.
So even up in Seattle, I don't think that's happening.
California and Arizona. I mean, come on, let's just keep it real. So if turning in our fee-for-service fees actually had an impact, then it would correspond with the rise of our fee-for-service fees, I would think.
I'm still waiting for that phone call. I'm waiting for the call from good friends at Delta saying, you know what? We've received your fee-for-service fees, and we just thought we just bless you with an increase just randomly because that would be so amazing. But apparently that's going to happen.
It's going to happen one day.
One day.
I can feel it. And the other thing that's, everybody's like, well, you got to send in your fee-for-service fee because, what if you have a fee increase and you missed it and you didn't enter it in your system? Well, again, that's kind of an important task for a front office personnel to make sure they're on top of what those fee increases are and placing them in the system under your fee schedules in your practice management software, which that's what it was designed to do. Okay? So I'm going, what the heck? And then here's the killer, what we've caught them doing. They'll give you a fee increase, and if you're billing out your fee-for-service fee, they'll give you a fee increase. This is their latest tactic over the last 2-3 years. You get your fee-for-service fee pushed out there. You get an increase in your fees from an insurance contractor, and new increase in 2021, and suddenly it gets reverted back to your 2017 fee structure, 2019 fee structure in their software. It gets rebounded back. How are you going to pick up on that, office managers, if you don't know what your exact contracted amount is? See, just the reverse can happen. You can lose money when their systems will revert back and you don't even know what you should be billing out because you would never pick that up if you're billing out your fee-for-service fee. In other words, you would never see that decrease in your new negotiated fee if you're just billing out your fee-for-service fee. But if you're billing out your plan, your contracted fee, you know exactly what you should be getting, exactly what the charges should be, and you would miss it otherwise. Am I right or wrong?
You're absolutely right. There's more to it, but I think you summarized it really well.
Yeah, I know. I'm cutting a corner too. The second thing is office managers are reading EOBs. This is the other thing we're seeing. Office managers are reading EOBs the way the dental insurance companies want you to read them, not how your contract allows you to read them. So thousands of dollars are being unnecessarily written off each month. Oops. You want to elaborate on that one?
Oh, those dreaded EOBs. How often has the ADA mentioned that they were going to be working on misleading verbiage on these EOBs, and it's just not happening? You start looking at those little notes at the bottom, and you can see immediately why those patients are completely misled. We need to know the contracts. We need to know state law.
Well, and just because the EOB says that you should write it off doesn't mean you should write it off 9.9 times out of 10. Am I off on that?
Not at all.
Should it be 10 out of 10 or should I just give a little wiggle room?
Hey, we'll give some wiggle room. There are going to be some times where you'll need to write something off.
9.9. Okay. Third thing,
9.5.
Front office team members are routinely dismissing charges that are performed. And what do I mean by that? Well, like the assistant will try to charge out for the services performed in the back, and then the front office team members will either tell them not to charge it out or they'll delete the charge. And I sure wish medical did this, but they don't do this. They don't have this kind of protocol action. Veterinary doesn't. And no non-medical company really does that, do they? I mean, I've went to Harmon's grocery store. I I didn't see him throwing some of my stuff in my bag for free. I think I had to pay for every item that we got, didn't we?
Absolutely.
So Doc, don't complain when your paycheck is less than expected. Just remember who you empowered to write off your services, or did you? And no, your patients don't think you're a nice guy for not making them pay for your services. Instead, you're pre-programming them to accept and demand free dentistry. There's a big difference between helping people out and routinely writing stuff off. And Trace, that just drove me nuts when I see that in the Office Manager Networking group. I see people saying that, and then I see it happening all the time. It's like this courtesy thing. Why are office managers doing that? You tell me.
I think that is the number one thing that drives me insane. When these office managers don't understand the direct operating cost per hour, how much does it cost to break even? How much does that material cost? How much does the technology cost? And for them to say, oh, well, X-rays are free. It doesn't cost us to do anything.
Doesn't cost us anything for the X-ray.
I'll just write that off.
No, people, we've heard these. These are things, we're not making this up. This is actually what we've heard out there.
And honestly, I think that it makes you feel better up front when you're creating this rapport with the patient. I'll cut you a deal. I'll write that off for you this time. And next thing you know, you're writing things off left and right without even thinking about it now. You're conditioning the patient to expect free. And then what do? I'm so overworked and overwhelmed.
And underpaid.
I
don't make enough.
I don't make enough. I need a raise. Come on now.
There went your raise every day. Do you know, we teach small course corrections add up to tens of thousands of dollars every year. Well, these negative course corrections add up to tens of thousands of dollars every year, only in lost revenue. Mm-hmm. So the main problem is, and we know that this is a problem. We've identified this. Trace, you hit it perfect. These team members do not understand DOC per hour and 30% corporate profitability just to be a wholesale distributor. Dentistry is retail. We're not wholesale. Medical is retail. They don't wholesale. Every other entity out there, unless you're a wholesaler. My dad's battery company, we were wholesalers of batteries, but we supplied the retailers. That's the difference. And we can't afford to do that anymore. No. Do you have anything else you want to add on that?
No, I think you said that perfectly.
Number four, thanks, son. Number four, neither the doc nor the front office team members have ever been given formal training in business, let alone how to run one. This is definitely one of those inconvenient truths that we don't really like to talk about. However, in dentistry today, I did see an article, 4 things I don't remember who wrote it, but it's a pretty good little article. 4 things I wish I'd known in dental school. Number 1, how to run a business.
That's interesting.
I
didn't read that one.
I know. I was going to tell you about it. I forgot to share that with you.
We never talk. I think
we work about 25 feet apart. And we should probably seek a counselor so we have better communication.
You really should.
Isn't that crazy though? And so that's hence the reason why we have the clinical business of dentistry. That's what we teach. We teach business skills. You guys know that. 5. But again, this is why our front team members, again, what value are we placing on education? Before I get to number 5, that's my whole point, is we take all these courses in dentistry, but who really provides courses on business? And look at their CVs. Who are they in providing courses on business? And think about it, my friends. Look at all the topics that are out there continuously. They're the same topics. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expect to get the same result. That's why when people go through our training, they're like, holy crap, this is not what I was expecting. This is actually hardcore business that makes me shiver inside and uncomfortable. That's right. We make people uncomfortable for about the first day, and then the rest of the week is all good. But it's pretty funny. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I'm actually laughing because you were saying we give them shivers, and I'm like, where is he going with this? But you're right.
They do.
It's the coolest thing because it goes contrary what everybody has been telling. That misinformation, enough is enough. And when you have somebody who's able to share this truth and back it up with evidence and documentation, it's the coolest thing ever when it starts to connect.
Yeah, I know. Number 5, the office manager or front office is placed into that position from promotion within the dental office most of the time. This is I'm going to say it's a good thing and a bad thing. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a bad thing, but it's also a very good thing because that person already has a good rapport with the clients. The bad thing is, again, it's the blind leading the blind. Think about it. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, right, you get that same result. So why not send that very important person or persons, which we have an office that's sending several of their team members out to our office manager training out in Hawaii here in this fall. Why not send that person to some business classes? Why not? Honestly, Trace, how hard has it been for you to take courses online while you're still working from a major university? I know it's been hard. I've been doing I've been scrubbing the floors and doing the laundry and cooking the meals. And
I didn't know this was comedy. This is stand-up right now.
Nobody knows.
Okay, yes.
Nobody knows the hell that's my life. No, that's not. Tracy's awesome. She's not, she is way smarter than me. Drives me nuts that she's able to read something once and done. But but those classes aren't, but if you were to take one at a time.
One at a time would be really easy to manage.
So as you've got a couple associate degrees in art and business, and you pursued your bachelor's, and now you're pursuing your master's. For us in dentistry, for when we, like organic chem, how often do we use that? Inorganic, how often do we really use that one? But would you say that some of the courses you've taken have been very applicable to the dental practice or no?
I would say a majority of them have. Sometimes you'll be sitting there reading through information and saying, oh, that does not apply. But realistically, looking at the concepts of different types of businesses and how they work and how they make profits and different strategies, marketing ideas, direct operating costs per hour. You're always able to grab this information and take snippets from it and apply it immediately to the practice. It's pretty neat.
So, Doc, why not encourage your front office to take a few business classes and support them, pay for it, maybe even help them get that associate degree? Why not encourage them at minimum to maybe pursue an associate's degree? I don't know. I've always been big on helping my team members, with schooling. If they want to go to school, I love to help them. I'm like a little mini scholarship for them. But
well, and you're not lying with that one. We just got approached by one of our employees last week saying that she was going to take a couple classes on Mondays and Wednesday nights, and it was cool knowing that we were able to help her out and just emotionally and be there for her and be excited for her to grow. That's
one of our assistants. Mm-hmm. That's not a front office person. That's we're cross-trained, but she's mostly in the back. So exactly. Any amount of knowledge and education just simply helps. It helps the business. It helps their family. Encourage that education. And that's what this podcast is all about. Think about it, my office manager friends. What if the dentist only had on-the-job training without any formal training to perform dentistry? That's a scary thought. So when you have both formal and clinical training, it just makes you more competent in your job, and it helps you with all your job duties. It makes your job easier, and it just brings more thing to light and makes you a more valuable person. But you've also got to have that support behind you. And Doc, that's where you come in, I think. What do you think?
Yeah. And unfortunately, when you're brought in from the back or off the street even, and you're taught on the job training, a lot of times there's a lot of overwhelming feelings that happen when you're up front, and you depend a lot on that title. But when you're trained and and you have that sure knowledge that what you're doing is correct, but yet you're willing to listen to other concepts. Obviously, we always want you to learn and grow, but that confidence is what helps you become a better office manager, and you don't depend on the title of I'm the office manager, listen to what I have to say.
Which leads me into number 6. Many office managers, they don't know how to battle dental insurance companies with the insurance tactics of non-covered, non-billable, and they end up writing off balances all the time that they don't have to or never should. They never should be written off. They need to understand what tools they have to do battle with. And again, it helps, I don't know, education gives you self-esteem. Knowledge gives you self-esteem.
Yes.
And when we help offices battle, help them with knowing how to battle insurance companies, that's a power play. In fact, in our comprehensive front office training, I love your book, Trace. The little what do I call it, the war book, the war plan.
Yes, it's a strategic war book.
Strategic office manager war plans. If the insurance company says A, you fire back with B and C. If the insurance company says number 4, you hit them with number 23. I mean, that's kind of, I know I'm like simplifying it, but it's a power play.
It is super fun because these tier 1 reps especially have canned responses. Their job is to shut you up, hang up the phone, get to the next person on the phone. And if you know what those canned responses are, then it's very easy for you to take that information and be able to kick it right back in a way that you get your way.
Again, a lot of office managers with on-the-job training know many of those things, but, oftentimes, more often than not, when the OMs come through training, there's a few that they just don't like to battle. They give up on, or they don't know how to battle. That's what I've seen. That's my observation. Your observation, you're the one in there, in those trainings when it comes to the office manager stuff. That's what I see.
Well, and
that's what I hear, but is that what you experience?
Yeah, and a majority of it's because of fear. I mean, you think about these poor people that are in this position where they're suddenly thrust into the front. They have to figure out the practice management software because you don't cross-train. So now suddenly you're in a position where you're trying to figure out accounts and why do they owe balances and what's this code mean? And now the insurance companies are telling you to write something off. The patient's yelling at you. It gets very overwhelming. And so a lot of times that on top of the pressure of making sure that you don't say or do something that is going to cause the patient to leave or the insurance company to suddenly get mad and kick you out of the network, and now the doctor's going to lose patients and he's going to go bankrupt, or she, and it's going to be all your fault. One wrong move, it's your fault, and that is terrifying to most office managers.
Well, and that's the thing that I see, and that's where they're not given the support from us dentists that they really need. So docs, you hear what I'm saying out there. Your front office needs continual training from people that have the credentialing and the experience to do it. And there's good trainers out there. Make no mistake about it. And that's one of the things that we teach. And my mind just keeps going 100 miles an hour every time we do this, Trace. That's why I've limited it to 7, so we can keep these podcasts short and, just on the drive home and lengthwise or quick, lunch and learn. But 7 is, and these are topics, you guys. These are things that we see, that this isn't the whole laundry list. No, this is just 7 points that have just hit me in the last 4 to 6 weeks that I continually see out there with our dear office managers and front office people that just, I see so much money being written off and so much lost revenue, Doc, that it scares me. It actually, you want to talk about scared? They're scared of being kicked off an insurance plan. I'm scared that the dentists they're working for can't give them the raises they deserve or the bonuses and can't fund his or her retirement account.
Well, how many dentists have we started out working with that have been living with parents or in an apartment? Think about that.
I'm sorry.
And and here we are
so
in society thinking that dentists make so much money.
Dentists make millions.
Yeah, so much.
So much. So number 7, last one, is many offices, we see them hiring out credentialing and fee negotiations to other, companies. But what if your office manager, front office, could do it? What if they were trained to do it? That's what we train them on. They should know how to do that. It's not that difficult once you know the algorithm. So would you give that front office person a bonus, a promotion, because of the thousands of dollars you spend each year farming those tasks out to third-party companies? I hate saying third party. You're not farming them out to the insurance company. Don't misunderstand that one, okay? But you're farming that out to companies out there that charge how much money they charge for credentialing and fee negotiation? Thousands.
Yeah, thousands of dollars. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just crazy when it's. I mean, even I can do it.
Well, and either way, you're going to be waiting. To be honest with you, whether you do it in-house or whether you go through another third party, it's going to take time to negotiate. If you know that and you know the steps that need to be done, why are you having other people do it? It's just it's easy. It's very, very easy to do.
These office managers and front office personnel, they need our support. They need training. They need the same kind of education that everybody else in the office has received for their jobs. These front office people need theirs. And the interesting thing that I want to point out too is there's a lot of people out there that teach stuff, but they're little tiny snippets here and there. They don't have a comprehensive training that teaches these points and many more. So if this is stuff, if the education of the front office and office manager is important to you, which today one of our existing clients called, and it's been years since he's been through training, and he called and he said, Rob, I want a refresher course, and I want my front office to go through the comprehensive office manager training because there's different things taught in each category. And I said to him, that's brilliant. That's exactly where you want to be. That because we all need refreshers and we all need to be fine-tuned to make sure that everybody's firing on the same, the same cylinders and not clunking around like a untuned engine. And that's a doc that cares. That's a doc that I know that he values the price of education for his team, for his entire team. And you guys, we have to. It can't just be us going to CE courses or the hygienists. It needs to be the entire team. And when the entire team is on the same page, everybody profits. And when I say profit, I don't mean just financially profit. I mean the patient profits because the team is more fine-tuned to handle their problems and to be able to perform the oral health care that we can. And Doc, you have way less stress. And that, I think that was the second component of that article in Dentistry Today. I wish I knew how to deal with stress. Well, there, I just fixed two of them, two of the four categories just in this podcast.
You're welcome.
Trace, do you have, and you guys out there, you know that I don't just love my wife, but I really respect her opinion and respect her training. And many a times you guys hear me say, yeah, that's above my pay grade. Tracy needs to answer that question. Well, that's why I have her here for his backup, because a lot of this stuff is just things that I observe and things that I've learned through the years. But what would you like to add with your pay grade, dear?
Well, I keep trying to get you to let me do a root canal, and you won't let me do it. So fine, I'll stick to my lane. But you know what?
I love the patience.
I have to say, honestly, and I'm going to get a little mushy, but it's been really cool having this business with Dr. Rob because he gets to handle the clinical part. And yes, we do review some of that for the front office, but I get to handle the business part. He handles the clinical part, and just together, it's created this wonderful classroom setting and curriculum that just has been so fun to watch get better and better over time.
Well, that's fun. Thanks, dear. We both appreciate all of you on our podcasts, and we hope that every time we do a podcast that there's at least a snippet of information, a pearl that we drop that helps all of you think about your practices and how to help them grow and profit and thrive in different ways and get you fired up. You should get fired up because dentistry is exciting. It is so much fun. Aside from those grouchy patients, aside from those super grouchy employees that we call team members.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the dentist.
Oh, us dentists.
Dentist.
We're never grouchy. We're like Disney princesses. We never have a bad day.
And never, ever. Whatever.
Thanks to all of you. You guys have a great day. Have a great week. Till we see you again.
Thank you for being with us today. To learn more about our guaranteed, no-risk clinical business of dentistry training that is changing dental practices for the better, just go to our website, mypracticemybusiness.com, and surf our pages for additional information about our company. When you're ready, give us a call and get scheduled for the best training you'll ever experience. Those are the words of our clients, not us. Our mission statement is simple. We increase the net revenue of dental practices with our key methods, tools, and training utilizing everyday need-based dentistry. We believe that there's never been a more important time than now for dentists to know what we know, and that is 1, how to compete with retail America. 2, how to be profitable with dental procedures, especially those performed on patients with dental insurance plans. 3, how to place oral health care at the forefront of patients' discretionary spending. And 4, how to ethically, legally, and morally be paid fairly for the services you provide. All of us here at My Practice My Business know exactly how to help you implement each of those talking points and more with our key methods, knowledge, and training. Our clients' testimonies say it all. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a 5-star review. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you soon at the My Practice My Business training facility located in the Salt Lake City, Utah area. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call us. Thank you again and have a fantastic day.